When you want to talk to your friends, what do?
I'll send a message on WhatsApp.
No. TikTok. No.
I write a little note on a piece of paper and I tie that note to a pigeon's foot. Then the pigeon flies and I never see the pigeon again.
Oh. Okay, fine. I use Tinder. I'm such a naughty girl.
No.
You send them an email or a letter. When you take your B2 First writing exam in part 2, you might decide to write an email or a letter. However, students often make some very, very silly mistakes. My name is Toby, this is Smash English, and here are the 5 most common mistakes that students make when they write their email or letter for the B2 First Cambridge exam.
Number 1. Using the wrong tone.
Imagine you are emailing a friend, to whom it may concern. No, we do not say to whom it may concern because that is formal. If we are writing to a friend, we must be informal. Hey Toby, how are you doing? Toby, hey, how have you been? Now, imagine you're writing an email to a teacher.
I would say, all right, mate. How are you doing?
No. Okay, I would say, oh hi, Professor Toby, you're really sexy. Please give me an A. No, you're writing a letter to a teacher. A teacher is a very, very important and professional person. So be formal.
Dear Mr. Toby, I hope this letter finds you well.
Ooh, exactly. When you read the original letter or email you are replying to, the first thing you should be thinking is this formal or informal? Because if it is formal, you must reply formally. If it is informal, then you should reply informally. Look for things like contractions and phrasal verbs. Contractions and phrasal verbs are informal. They are more cool and casual, like me. Really cool guy. If they don't use contractions, if they don't use phrasal verbs, then it is formal, so you must be formal and boring. Often informal language is actually more difficult because you must use idiomatic expressions and phrasal verbs. And I know, you're thinking, oh, but Toby, I don't know any phrasal verbs. Well, you are in luck. Because Smash English has a whole playlist including every phrasal verb that you need to know for the B2 First Cambridge exam. Great. Click there and watch it, and you will learn them all.
Number 2. Not formatting correctly.
Think of a conversation. When you talk to someone, you don't immediately tell them what you're thinking. Instead, you start with small talk.
Well, can you give me some money, mate? I've finished my beer. You know, I can't work without beer.
Unless you are Bruce, of course. When writing a letter or email, just like in real life, you must follow a sort of template. First, we should introduce our email, and how we do this depends on the tone. If it is a formal email, we should say something like, Dear Toby, or to whom it may concern. If we are writing an informal email, hello Toby, hi Toby, hey Toby, would be fine. Then we need to write an opening paragraph, and what we include in this paragraph again depends on if we are writing a formal email or an informal email. If we're writing to a friend and it's informal, we should include things like asking them how they are. How are you? We should talk about how we are. We should ask them what they have been doing recently, or we could tell them what we have been doing recently. And of course, we must tell them how excited we are that they have taken the time to write to us, because we love it when our friends write to us. If we are writing a formal email, then what we include in our first paragraph will depend on why we are writing that email or letter. In the first paragraph, we should thus say why we are writing the letter or email. Why should this person listen to us? Are we applying for a job? If we are, where did we find out about this job? Who are we? What's my name? And why am I applying for the job? Just some suggestions. Then in the next paragraph, or the next two paragraphs, depending on how you format it, we should be responding to the questions in the original email or the questions in the advert if we're responding to an advert. Simple enough. Then finally, in the last paragraph, we should be nice again in the same way that we were in our first paragraph. Maybe tell them how much we are looking forward to their response and how excited we are to see them again. Things like this. And then finally, say goodbye from Toby. Bye, Toby. Yours sincerely, Toby. Yes, in this email or letter, it is Toby sending a message to Toby, because that's how it works. The point is, a letter and an email are letters and emails, and so they should be formatted like a letter and an email. This is not an essay, so don't write an essay, and people sometimes do. I thought you'd finished all your drink.
Yeah, I had, so I stole some from a shop. Look, Toby, if Smash English refuses to pay me, yeah, and I have to live a life of crime, then so be it. Phew.
Oh my gosh, I actually really like criminals. Guys, is that a bad thing? I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing, right? I love criminals. Wow.
Number 3. Not completing the task.
I have said this many times, and I will say it again, because it is so important. The examiner should be able to understand everything that was in the original email, letter, or advertisement only by reading your email or letter. This means that the examiner understands everything that was included in the original email, letter, or advertisement without reading it, because your letter or email makes it super obvious to them. So, how can you do this? By underlining with a pen. Underlining with a pen? Underlining with a pen! This is a new revolutionary technique that involves your hand, a pen, your mind, your head, and your brain. All three of them at the same time.
My brain? No. That is the one thing I'm against. All right, I refuse. I'm not doing that. Not doing that at all. No.
Yeah, you tell him, Bruce. I'm not gonna use my brain. Who needs a brain when you've got a face like this?
So, for example, you receive this question. For a school project, I'm preparing a presentation about public transport in cities. What's the public transport system like where you live? Who uses it and what could be done to improve it? What an exciting email. So, we received this from a friend, so we should probably ask them how they are and explain how we are too. Then we need to tell them that we are willing to help. Next, we need to underline the information we must include. So that is 3 questions. What is the public transport system like where you live? Who uses it? And what could be done to improve it? Underline these so we don't forget to answer any of them. Finally, we should organize all of this appropriately. Remember, we must format the email correctly. So, introduction, be nice, ask personal and friendly questions and explain that we are happy to help. Then, in paragraph 2, I will describe public transport in my city and who uses it. In paragraph 3, I will write a paragraph on what could be done to improve public transport in my city. Then, in paragraph 4, I will be nice again and say goodbye.
And this is called planning. And it is very important. If you want to know more about planning and writing an informal email, then watch this video, because you'll learn a lot about writing an informal email. And you're watching this video now to improve your skills at writing letters and emails, So why wouldn't you watch that video?
Oh my god, you actually put that video on YouTube? Oh, guys, please don't watch it. It's so embarrassing.
Oh yeah, that's the video where Johnny leaves you, isn't it? Because of your beard. Oh, it's a great one, mate. Great.
Number 4. Forgetting it's a conversation.
Like I have said before, emails and letters are not essays.
Yeah, that's actually true. Letters and emails are not essays.
Oh yeah. Toby, you're a genius.
Okay, shut up. What I mean is, unlike an essay, a letter and email are conversational. It is a discourse. It is an interaction. You want the person you are writing to reply to you. Obviously, otherwise, what's the point? The only people that don't reply to me are all my female subscribers. That's really weird. That's really weird.
If you are writing to a friend, maybe say something like, "I haven't seen you in ages. Let me know if you are available for a catch-up anytime soon." Or, "Are you free next weekend? We should definitely hang out." If you are writing something more formal, then you could say something like, "Please do not hesitate to contact me if you need further information." If you are asking for information, you could write, "How much do the courses cost? Would it be possible to pay in cash?" Or, "I was wondering whether I could take lessons in the mornings."
Many students forget to include casual things like this, and they lose marks because of it. Remember, you're messaging your friend. You want to see your friend. You want to know about your friend's life. You want to make sure that your friend is okay. You're interested in your friends. So make that obvious. Or if you're applying for a job, you want these people to respond to you. And of course, you will have questions about the position. So ask these questions. Why wouldn't you? It's an email about a job, and this job is probably going to be your life. You will spend 40 hours a week in this job, wishing that you were dead. Okay. So to summarize, letters and emails are not essays with "Dear Toby, love from your biggest fan" at the top and bottom. No.
Number 5. Not including relevant vocabulary and grammar related to the topic and function.
And lastly, and this goes for every single part of the B2 First Writing exam, we must make sure that we use vocabulary related to the topic and that we use grammar that serves the function related to the task. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look.
For example, in this question, one of our tasks is what could be done to improve the public transport in your town? I think using the passive is appropriate here, so we should use the passive to answer the question. Ticket prices could be lowered to make public transport more affordable. Moreover, here we are giving a suggestion, so we are using the modal verb could for suggestions. And remember, we also need to include relevant vocabulary. As we are talking about public transport, we should try to use specific vocabulary related to the topic, like subways, trams, buses, metro, ticket fares, season tickets, railways, stations, etc.
Wow, that was so much fun. Did you have fun? Because I know that I had loads of fun. Oh, finally I'm finished, Jesus Christ. And with that, we are finished. Those were the 5 biggest mistakes that students make when they write letters or emails for the B2 First Writing exam. If you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.